Good morning students, welcome to the video lecturing on groups. This is the fourth video on group. So in this video we are going to study about some theorems on group and the definition of an order of an element of a group and the problems solved on the elements of order of a group. First let us study about this theorem. If H is a subgroup of G, then H inverse is equals to H. Take proof. Since H is a subgroup, here it is given H is a subgroup of G, then you have to prove that here H inverse is equals to H. Since H is a subgroup, then this implies here for all A belongs to H, then this implies A inverse is also belongs to H, because the definition of a subgroup, if an element belongs to the group, then its inverse is also in that group. So this implies here for all A belongs to H, A inverse is also belongs to H. Now for A inverse belongs to H, then this implies taking inverse on both sides. A inverse whole inverse which belongs to H inverse. So that is here we have A belongs to H, then this implies here this A inverse whole inverse. We know A inverse whole inverse is A and it belongs to H inverse. So what this implies here? If A belongs to H, then this implies A also belongs to H inverse. Then this implies here this H is contained in H inverse. That is H is the subset of H inverse. Take this one as equation number 1. Since H is a subgroup, it must also contains the inverse of each of its elements. That is here H inverse is contained in H. This is second equation. So from these two equations, what we have here, H is contained in H inverse and H inverse is contained in H. Means that is here H is a subset of H inverse and H inverse is the subset of H. This is possible only when they are equal. So from equations 1 and 2 we have here H inverse is equals to H. So that is here, this we know. Suppose we have here, let us take one example. Suppose we have a set A. Suppose we have a set A which contains elements 1, 2, 4 and set B, it also contains elements here, let us take this one contains here 2, 4 and 1. So this implies here what here A is contained in B, means A is a subset of B here. This implies here A is subset of B and B is the subset of A also. The subset means here all the elements of B are in A, that is 2, 4, 1 are the elements of A. So this is possible if A is contained in B and B is contained in A. This means what here? This means A is equals to B. So this is the meaning here. So if H is contained in H inverse and H inverse is contained in H, it means here they are equal. So this is the proof. That is here if H is a subgroup of G, then H inverse is equals to H. So this is the proof of this theorem. Let us take one more theorem. For any subsets H and K of a group G, H into K is also a subgroup of G if and only if H into K is equals to K into H. Take proof. First suppose that if and only if means you have to prove this one in two ways. First you have to take this one as here H and K are subgroups, then H into K is a subgroup, then H into K is equals to K into H, and conversely if H into K is equals to K into H, then you have to prove that H and K are subgroups of G. First suppose that here H into K is equals to K into H, then you have to prove that here H and K are subgroups. So now we have to prove that here H into K is a subgroup of G. For this let us take some element X belongs to H into K. Now what we are proving here is we are proving H into K is a subgroup of G by taking this condition. So let us take here some element X belongs to H into K. Then this implies, let us take here X belongs to H into K means the elements of H and K is equals to X. So it is equal to, let us take here small h and K. because here x belongs to h into k means the elements of h into k are hk, a1, hk2, etc. it is. So let us take one element x is equals to h into k, where h belongs to h and k belongs to k. Take one more element y belongs to hk. This implies y is equals to h dash k dash. Again the element is in the form of h into k only, where h dash belongs to h and k dash belongs to k. Then let us find x into y is equals to multiply these to hk, h dash, k dash is equals to h, and you take put bracket for these two elements kh dash into k dash. Since kh dash, this one, kh dash belongs to kh, it is in the form of kh only. And but what we have taken here as, h into k is equals to k into h. So this implies we can take kh as hk. So this implies here k into h dash is equals to h into k. We can take the elements of h into k or as h to k to take some other element which for some h2 belongs to h and k2 belongs to k. So this hk is the set. The elements of it, this hk are in the form of h and small h and k. So you have taken here as h2 and k2. So this implies here, so from equation number 1, so this one, from equation number 1 what we have here, x into y is equals to h into kh dash. So instead of this kh dash, what we have taken here as h2 k2 into this k dash as it is equation number 1. So this implies again we make this group h into h2 and k2 into k dash, which belongs to what? Which belongs to here, this h into h1 is an element of h and k into k dash is an element of k. So which belongs to h into k. So that is here for all xy belongs to hk. And this implies here for all xy, x belongs to hk and y belongs to hk. So this implies for all xy belongs to hk, this product of these two, x into y is also belongs to xk. So thus hk is closed under binary operation, that is the closure law is satisfied. So what we want to prove here is, we want to prove hk is a subgroup. So for that we have to prove it satisfies the condition of a group. So first property of a group is closure law. So it satisfies closure law. Now take its inverse. X inverse is equals to hk whole inverse. This equals to, we know this property, reversal property, AB whole inverse is equals to, we know B inverse into A inverse. So h into k whole inverse is equals to k inverse h inverse for all. This belongs to k into h. So and we know k into h is equals to, here only we have taken the statement k into h is equals to h into k. So this is equals to h into k. So this implies x inverse also belongs to h into k for all x belongs to hk. So by one of the previous theorem we have here, if h is a subgroup of G, then for all a comma b belongs to h, then a into b belongs to h and a inverse belongs to h, then this implies here h is a subgroup. So this implies here hk is a subgroup of this is hk is a subgroup of G. This is from equations here 2 and 3, because here it satisfies closure law and it satisfies and inverse also exists. So therefore from these two properties we can say that here hk is a subgroup of G. Conversely, suppose that here hk is a subgroup of G, then we have to prove that hk is equals to kh. So for this we have to establish here hk is equals to kh means we have to prove that here hk is subset of kh and kh is the subset of hk. So from these two we can say that here hk is equals to kh. This we have to prove. First let us take here kh belongs to this, let us take one element which belongs to kh. So element of kh is in the form of kh only. Let us take small kh which belongs to capital K. This capital K is the set and this small kh is the element of a set. Since hk is a subgroup, here it is given here, suppose that here you have taken hk is a subgroup. So since hk is a subgroup, then this implies for all h belongs to h, k belongs to k. This implies h inverse k inverse is also belongs to h into k, because here satisfies the property of a this subgroup. We know the definition of a subgroup. This necessary and sufficient condition of a subgroup. If A belongs to H and B belongs to H, then AB inverse belongs to H. So this implies here this H inverse K inverse is also belongs to HK. Then we know here if an element belongs to HK, then its inverse is also belongs to that subgroup. This is the property of a group. Group and subgroup, both the properties are same, because here subgroup means it is also a group only. So if A belongs to H, then A inverse is also belongs to H. No? So like that, H inverse K inverse belongs to HK implies its inverse is also an element of this HK, because this is subgroup. So apply the property of this reversal property. This is we know here this one. We know this AB whole inverse is equals to B inverse into A inverse. This we know. So let us apply that one here. This is K inverse whole inverse into H inverse whole inverse. So this belongs to here HK. And we know K inverse whole inverse is K, H inverse whole inverse is H. So KH belongs to HK. So but this KH is an element of H. This KH we have taken here. KH belongs to KH. So what you have proved here, KH belongs to HK. So from this we can say that here for all KH belongs to KH, this implies KH belongs to HK. So from these two we can say that here this KH is contained in HK. Take this one as equation number 4. And also since HK is a subgroup, this is again given here. We have taken, suppose HK is a subgroup. So since this HK is a subgroup, let us take here some element X belongs to HK. This implies its inverse is also an element of HK, because it is a subgroup, means inverse element is also present in that. So this implies here X inverse is equals to, which belongs to HK, means the element of this X inverse is in the form of H into K only. Let us take here X inverse is equals to H into K. So now its inverse, X inverse whole inverse is equals to HK whole inverse. So we know X inverse whole inverse is X, which is equals to, again apply the reversal property. This is K inverse H inverse, which also belongs to here KH. So this implies here X belongs to KH. What you have taken here as here X belongs to HK, and we proved here X belongs to KH. So that is here for all X belongs to HK. This implies X also belongs to KH. So from these two we can say that here HK is contained in KH. Take this one as equation number 5. So from equation number 4 and 5, KH is contained in HK and HK is contained in KH. So from these two we can say that here they are equal. So from equations 4 and 5, this implies here H into K is equals to K into H. So this is the proof of this theorem. Let us take one more theorem. A subset H of a group G is a subgroup of G if and only if H into H inverse is equals to H. First suppose that H into H inverse is equals to H. We have to prove that here. Next we have to prove that H is a subgroup of G. So to show that here, first we have assumed that here H into H inverse is equals to H. Then we have to show that H is a subgroup of G. Let us take some element here. A comma B belongs to H. Be arbitrary. Let us take some elements which belongs to H. Since B belongs to H, then this implies B inverse belongs to H inverse. So that is here A belongs to H and B inverse belongs to H inverse. Then this implies here their product AB inverse belongs to H into H inverse. This is from equation number 1, because we know here AB inverse belongs to H. So and we know here H is equals to H into H inverse. Therefore we can say that here AB inverse belongs to H into H inverse. So that is for all A comma B belongs to H. This implies here AB inverse belongs to H. This is from equation number 1. So hence H is a subgroup. This is the necessary and sufficient condition for subset H to be a subgroup. That is here for all A comma B belongs to H, AB inverse belongs to H, means H is a subgroup of G. Conversely, suppose that here H is a subgroup of G. Next we have to show that here H into H inverse is equals to H. So we have to establish here So again, to prove this one, you have to prove that here h into h inverse contained in h, and h is contained in h into h inverse. And so we know this, if two sets are equal, so we cannot prove that two sets are equal here without taking this condition. So to show that A is equals to B, if two sets are equal means you have to prove that one set is contained in another set only. Since this is set, we have to prove like this only. Now let us take here AB inverse belongs to H into H inverse, be arbitrary. Let us take some element which belongs to like this. So then this implies here A belongs to H and B inverse belongs to H inverse. Then this implies here if B inverse belongs to H inverse, then B also belongs to H. So therefore here for all A comma B belongs to H. So here A belongs to H and B also belongs to H. This implies here AB inverse belongs to H, because here what you have taken here, we have taken here as H is a subgroup. So this is the condition, necessary condition of a subgroup, that is here AB belongs to H implies AB inverse belongs to H. So that is for all AB inverse, what you have taken here as, you have taken here as AB inverse belongs to H into H inverse, and lastly we proved AB inverse belongs to H. So from these two we can say that here H into H inverse is contained in H. So take this one as equation number 2. Now again let us take here A belongs to H, be an arbitrary element. Let us take some element of A which belongs to H. Now we have here this A can be written as here A into E inverse, which belongs to H into H inverse. So this implies A as it is, we know E inverse is E only, which belongs to H into H inverse. So this implies we know again A into E is equals to, A into E is equals to, we know A, it is just like an entity element, A into E is A, which belongs to H into H inverse. So what we have taken here as here, we have taken here as A belongs to H, and lastly we proved here as A belongs to H into H inverse. So this means here H is contained in H into H inverse. Take this one as equation number 3. So in equation 2 what we have proved? We have proved H into H inverse is contained in H, and in equation 3 we proved H is contained in H into H inverse. So from these two we can say that here from equations 2 and 3 we have here H into H inverse is equals to H. So this is the proof of this theorem. So what we have proved here, here we have taken a subset H of a group G is a subgroup of G if and only if H into H inverse is equals to H. So this we proved in this theorem. So this completes this proof. Let us take one definition, integral power of an element. Suppose here let G comma star dot or dot be a group, let A belongs to G, then multiples of A, then A into A comma A into A etc. Is also an element of G. So then here that is for all A belongs to G, A raised to N is also belongs to G. When N is any integer, then it is called integral power of N. This is the definition of integral power of an N. Take one more definition. This is a very important definition. Order of an element of a group. If G is a group and A belongs to G, then order of an element of A is the least positive integer n such that A raised to N is equals to E. Then we write this one as here order of A is equals to N. So it means here suppose A is an element of G, then its order of an element can be obtained only when A raised to N is equals to E, where E is the entity element. That is here if you raise the power of an element with number of times, then you should get an entity element. Then we can say that here N is the order of an element A, and it is written as here order of A. So here if this exists, if there is no any such element exists in this group, that is if there exists no such integers, we say that here A is infinite order or of zeroth order. That is here by raising the power to any number of times, if you will not get entity element, then we can say that here order of A is infinite. So that is here, this is very important. If A raised to N is equals to E, then order of A is n. So this is the order of an element of a. Let us take one example here. Find the order of each element of a multiplicative group G, where G is equals to 1 minus 1 I minus I. So here this is, take solution. So this is a multiplicative group. So multiplicative group means here 1 is the identity element. This we know. 1 is the multiplicative identity and 0 is the additive identity. Since it is a multiplicative group, 1 is the identity element. So here we know here 1 raised to 1 is 1. So since 1 is the identity element, so 1 to the power of 1 is 1. This implies here order of 1 is 1. Now take second element. Second element is minus 1. So now go on raising the power of minus 1 till you will get to 1 here. First raise the power as 1. Minus 1 raised to 1 is minus 1. So this is not the order of minus 1 because here we want identity element. So minus 1 square is minus 1 into minus 1, it is equals to 1. So therefore here this implies this is the identity element. So this implies here order of minus 1. Order of minus 1 is 2. The number of, how many number of times we multiplied minus 1 to get the identity element is the order of minus 1. So this implies here order of minus 1 is 2. Next here, next element is I. So now we know here I to the power of 1 is I square we know minus 1. I cube is minus I and I raised to 4. I raised to 4 is nothing but here I square whole square. It is equals to minus 1 into minus 1 is equals to 1. So therefore here since I to the power of 4 gives 1, that is the identity element, therefore this order of I is 4. Similarly one more element remains here, minus I. Let us raise the power of minus I also here one by one. We know minus I raised to 1 is minus I square is I square, it is equals to minus 1. Minus I cube is again here it is I, and minus I raised to 4 is plus I raised to 4 whose value is 1. So this implies here minus I raised to 4 gives 1. So this implies order of this minus I is also is equals to what? 4. So like this we can find the order of each element of this group or set. Here order of 1 is 1, order of minus 1 we got here as 2, order of I what we got here as, order of I we got as 4, and order of minus I is also is equals to 4. So like this we can find the order of each element of this group. Let us take one more example. Find the order of each element in this following multiplicative group G, where G is equals to A square, A cube, A raised to 4, A raised to 5 and A raised to 6, it is equals to E. So take solution. Here also it is multiplicative group and here it is given that here A raised to 6 is equals to E. E means identity element. So here the identity element is what? Here identity element is A raised to 6 or it is equals to E. So by data A raised to 6 is equals to E. So what we want here? We want to raise the power of each element so that we get here A raised to 6. That is the entity element. First let us find the order of an element A. So here A to the power of, we know here A to the power of 6 is equals to E. So this implies here order of A is equals to power of this A is 6. Similarly, to find the order of A square, second element is A square, we have here, you have to raise the power of A square so that we should get here E. And we know A to the power of 6 is E. So therefore A square whole cube. This is A square. If you raise it by 3, you will get A raised to 6. It is equals to E. This implies here order of A square. The power of A square here is what? Here 3. Next order of A cube. Order of A cube means here we know A cube whole square. A cube whole square is A raised to 6. Our intention is to get E. So E is nothing but here A raised to 6. So we have to raise the power of this A cube so that we should get A square. So A cube whole square is A raised to 6. This implies here order of A cube is 2. Next is A raised to 4. We have to raise the power of A raised to 4 so that we should get here E. So let us verify here. First let us take A raised to 4 as 1, A raised to 4. A raised to 4 whole square is A raised to 8. A raised to, we want here only A raised to 6 or multiples of A raised to 6. So it is nothing but here a raised to 6 into a square. This is equals to a square. But we want here what? A square. We want e. Now a raised to 4 whole cube gives what here? A raised to 12. A raised to 12 means a raised to 6 into a raised to 6. And we know a raised to 6 is e into a is equals to a. Therefore we can say that here we can take a raised to 4 whole cube as a raised to 12. It is a raised to 6 into a raised to 6. It is equals to e. This implies here order of a raised to 4 is 3. And lastly a raised to 5. So here also you have to raise the power of a raised to 5, so that you should get here e. So here see, you verify here a raised to 5 to the power of 1 is a raised to 5. We want a, here we want e. A raised to 5 square is a raised to 10. So a raised to 10 is also not multiple of 6. And a raised to 5 cube is a raised to 15. A raised to 15 means here it is a raised to 6 into a raised to 6. You have to convert in a raised to 6 only, because a raised to 6 value is e. It is also not like that here. A raised to 5 to the power of 4 is a raised to 20. It is also not multiple of 6. A raised to 5 square, a raised to 25, it is also not multiple of a raised to 6. And lastly, a raised to 5 whole raised to 6 is a raised to 30. This a raised to 30 can be taken as here a raised to 6 whole raised to 5. 6 into 5 is 30. And we know a raised to 6 value is e. E to the power of 5 is e. So therefore here order of this a raised to 5 is what here? Power of a raised to 5 is 6. So it is equals to order of a raised to 5 is 6. And lastly, order of an element a raised to 6. We have here a raised to 6 to the power of 1 is equals to a raised to 6. It is equals to e. This implies order of a raised to 6 is equals to 1. So like this we can find the order of each and every element of this group. Let us take here one more element, one more example. Find the order of all the elements of an additive group of integer modulo 6, that is z6 comma under the addition mode 6. Here let us take z6 means you have to take the set of integers. It starts from 0, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Since this is under the binary addition, binary operation here is addition modulo 6, means here a plus under addition mod 6b means you have to take the remainder by adding a and b. First you have to add ab, divide this sum by 6 and take the remainder, that is a plus 6 under addition modulo 6 plus b, that is the sum of a and b divided by 6 is the remainder. So therefore the entity element here is 0 because it is an additive group here. So therefore the remainder, this entity element is here. So therefore the entity element is 0, that is order of 0 is 1 here, that is 0 plus 0 is equals to 1. We can here 0 as this additive identity of 0, additive identity element is 0, so order of 0 is 1. Now for 1 here, next element is 1. So 1 plus 1, we know 2, it is not equal to 0 because here what we want here, we want the entity element, here entity element is 1. So here what we got here, if you add 1 plus 1 you will get 2, 1 plus 1 plus 1 is 3, like this. So you will get here 1 plus 1 plus 1 plus 1. If you add 6 times, you will get 6, but it is under addition modulo 6 means you have to divide here 6 by 6. The remainder is 0. That is here 6 means here under addition modulo 6 means here 6 means 6 divided by 6. 6 ones are 6. Remainder is 0. This you have to take here. Remainder here is 0. So this implies here order of 1. Order of 1, how many times we have added 1? 6 times. So therefore order of 1 is 6. So next element is 2. So for 2, you have to add 2. How many times you have to add 2 means here 2 plus 2 plus 2. If you add 3 times, you will get 6. So again 6 divided by 6 gives the remainder 0. I told you remainder means this one. 6 divided by 6, this is the remainder. So this you have to take here. So that is here, this implies order of 2 is 3. Similarly next element is 3. So 3 plus 3 is equals to 6. That is the remainder here is 0. This implies order of 3 is how many times we added 3? 2 times. So next element is 4. This is the element of the set G. So 4 plus 4 plus 4 is 12. 12 means again divided by, so 12 divided by 6 gives the remainder here again 0. So order of 4 is how many times? 3. Next element is 5. So 5 we have to add here 6 times. Only what you want to do is here we should get the sum as multiples of 6 only. It should be either 6, 12, 18, 24, 30, like this only you have to take here. So if you add 5 6 times, you will get 0. That is here 5 plus 5 plus 5, all this you will get here 30. Then the remainder obtained 30, no, it is sum of all these is 30. If you divide it by 6, then 30, here a remainder is 0. So therefore here order of this 5 is equals to 6. So this implies here like this you will get the order of each and every element of this set. So like this only I solved some more examples. Let us take here one more example. Find the order of each element of this multiplicative group G, where G is equals to 1 W square is the set of cube roots of 1. So that is here we know G is equals to 1 W square. We know here W cube is omega, we can say that here omega cube is equals to 1. Since 1 is the entity element, therefore order of 1 is 1. Next order of omega here. So for omega we have here, we know omega cube is 1. So this is the property of cube roots of unity. So this implies here order of omega is 3. This power 3 have to take here. And one more element is omega square. So for this omega square, again what we want to find the multiples of 3 only it is, because omega cube is 1. So you have to convert this omega square in terms of multiples of 3 power. That is omega square whole cube. Omega square whole cube is nothing but omega raised to 6. And this can be taken as here omega cube whole square, because omega cube value is 1. You have to convert in terms of omega cube. So omega cube whole square, omega cube is 1. It is equals to 1 square is 1. This implies order of this omega square is 3. So like this we can find the order of each element of this group. Similarly, one more example, last example. Find the order of each element of this Z4 under addition mod 4. Z4 is again you have to take same, it is exactly similar to the previous example. So we have 4 elements 0, 1, 2, 3. Since 0 is the entity element, again this order of this 0 is 1. Next this 1, you have to add 1. How many times you add 1? You should get 0. That is 1 plus 1 plus 1 plus 1. 4 times, because it is addition mod 4. That is 4 divided by 4 gives the remainder 0. Therefore order of 1 is 4. Next is 2. 2 plus 2 is 4. Again the remainder is 0. 4 divided by 4 gives the remainder 0. Therefore order of 2 is again what here? 2 only. Now next element is 3. You have to add 3 4 times, you will get 12. Then the remainder obtained by dividing 12 by 4. The remainder is 0. Therefore we can say that here order of this 3 is, how many times we added 3? 4 times. So this is the order of 3 is 4. Like this we can find the order of an element of this group.